Hey guys, welcome back to Brownies for Breakfast with me, April Federico. So it's been an extremely hot minute since I posted my last podcast episode. I realized it was like April 23rd when I last recorded. And also apologies in advance if my fan is super loud. It's summer, so yeah. So I talked a little bit about limiting beliefs in my last episode. More often than not, we are clouded by limiting beliefs. However, we need not to be. For example, when I was in Punch Drunk Soul's Path to Freedom coaching program, again, that's Punch Drunk Soul for anyone who is looking to become a coach of any kind. We had weekly meetings with this woman, Brooke, who is, I gotta tell you, a real life goddess, and I practically worship her. And she essentially changed our limiting beliefs around money. And I'm not gonna tell you my money story, but I'll tell you that I never had a strong relationship with the value of dollar. And some people have the belief that money is only accessible if you're rich, which is not totally true. I mean, anyone can be rich. It's just a matter of getting out of the defense mode and actually working toward your goals. Let me give you another example. So, my friends often call me the Carrie Bradshaw of publishing. So I think it was my friend Chloe who actually coined that in the first place. So, hi Chloe, this one's for you. And Carrie Bradshaw is often coined as the ultimate single gal until she marries Mr. Big. Rest in peace, if you know, you know. So sorry if I spoiled and just like that for you. Anyway, this is where I get personal and a tad sappy. So I met my boyfriend of 1 year on Bumble last summer. Oddly enough, it was shortly after I wrote, "Dear future husband, if I ever meet you." And when I introduced him to the blog, which is when I know it's real, he read that particular post a couple of times, which I thought was very flattering and also very, very cute. And before that, I had my personal, I guess you could say, view that relationships were more physical rather than emotional. And even more so that I didn't even deserve love based on like past loves, or loves, quotation mark. And Mark, which is my boyfriend's name, kept his word that he showed me what an emotional relationship is like. And I've never been happier to be so in love. But here's the question. Why did I ever think that relationships were supposed to be more physical rather than emotional? I mean, that was purely based on a past experience with an ex who didn't find me sexually attractive despite dating me for over a year. And since then, I was in complete defense mode and afraid of true love, and especially afraid of getting severely emotionally battered and broken. And I need not to be that way anymore. And it's all about changing your mindset, and I'll get to that in a minute. So, I will tell you, walking on the moon seemed impossible, yet it was done anyway. Like, even the top chess player in the world had the slightest thought that they would lose a match, like someone was gonna steal their queen or something. But they immediately got out of defense mode and into beast mode, and ultimately won their game. Do you think there are billionaires out there who were born rich? Yes and no. But some had to climb their way to the top despite what their beliefs were about money. Their limiting beliefs, I should say. And that's why you find all these books about people who started from the bottom, cue Drake, and became who they are today. Go make it happen. And do it scared, you know what-less, and go for it. And don't listen to what other people think you should do based on their limiting beliefs. I mean, those aren't yours to take on and for you to make your own. And the key to being the person who you were meant to be and doing what you were born to do is 80% mindset and 20% strategy. In fact, I was talking to my therapist yesterday after a really draining weekend. I'm not going to get into it. Essentially, I was just talked down to by a family member. But anyway, my therapist and I came up with a plan for our next appointment to talk about what the next steps were for my own personal success. And essentially, I basically chose to do a manifestation session with my therapist, who, unlike me, has taken psychology courses. And I gotta tell you, yesterday and today, I woke up in beast mode. Big Sean would be proud that I said that. And I had written a blog post for the third day in a row. I have yet to write today's, but I'm basically going to talk about my good friend, again, Brooke Ritchie, who I look up to so much. Hi, this one's for you. I love you. And I asked her essentially how she got to where she is today. And she told me she did a lot of inner work as well as therapy. And by the way, I think this is your sign to go to therapy, whomever is reading this. And I couldn't help but also read her bio, and she's a pure example of how she got from point A to point Z. Like, for example, she had this really limiting belief about money. Like, she would nanny on the Upper East Side and look at these, like, gajillionaires with, like, wads full of cash, thicker than slices of bread. Not gonna lie, that's what her bio says. And essentially, she wanted to be like that. And look at her now. I mean, I highly recommend you look her up. In fact, I'll put her website in this episode's, description? Yeah, sorry, I'm, like, relatively new to podcasting, so don't kill me. But she did introduce me to Byron Katie's teachings. If you don't know who that is, I recommend looking her up on YouTube. And her teachings are like an hour long per episode, but one of the main takeaways I got from just listening to even like 10 minutes of an episode yesterday was think, feel, act, have. So, and I wrote this down in my notes. I said, I think of having it all. I think of having the best life. I think of having the life that Brooke has. I think of having approval. And then I feel approval for myself. I act by doing things that please me. And I have approval of myself. So, a little context of what happened over the weekend. I had decided to quit my pharmacy technician job because honestly, I swore to God that I would stay out of retail for as long as I live. No offense to anyone who does work in retail at the moment, but yeah, it's just not my cup of tea. And I've always wanted to work for myself, and I am focusing on that. And here's the thing. This is where I get into the key message. So you can have strategy on strategy all you want and just keep harping on that, but it's the act of having a mindset of doing so, having this success mindset, abundance mindset, this money mindset, whatever, and it'll just like completely empower you. I didn't want to say overpower because that's the wrong term, but it will empower you to go after what it is you deserve. Like, it's not so much about the grind, but it's like you gotta put in the work too to actually have what you need to have, or have what you were born to have, your God-given right. So, yeah. That was this week's episode, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.